always tell people, like, in today's world, I don't believe in dating. I believe in dating after marriage. I believe in friendship, courting, marriage, and then dating. The reason why is because a lot of men don't get a chance to see how a woman really is in different seasons of his life. And so, to JR's point, we end up marrying somebody who, who, as long as things were good, we've only seen the good side. We have no context for what life looks like when things go bad. So this goes into vetting, but this goes even deeper into friendship. You got to know how she handles difficulty. If you want to get to know her, don't ask her where she got her degree from. Don't ask her, is she an entrepreneur? Ask her how she deals with difficult times and wait for her to give you a response, because how she handles and deals with conflict is ultimately going to show up in how you guys do it when you guys are together.
One of the things that I think I've noticed on the male end is that we're too hard on other men. And one of the things that I've noticed is a woman has a right to disrespect your complacency. That's about it. All right. But men should not accept disrespect for circumstances that are out of their control. And that is something I've seen with this particular generation, is that because other men are hard on you because things aren't perfect, which makes women think they have license to then be hard on you in addition. Right. So right now, there are men losing jobs, huge scale jobs, Amazon, Google, all of that. And we're in a system where you lose your job, you lose your house. Right. So, this man has been working, putting on for the family and everything. And all of a sudden he falls on hard times. I have seen marriages the entirety of my life. And I know I have multiple doctors in my family, several millionaires, and not one of them has not fallen on hard times because of something that happened outside of their control. What I do see the difference between the men in my family, so to speak, and other men like them, they do not accept that disrespect from their woman. It is generational now that women think they have license to talk down to men that fall on hard times. You said you took a vow for better or for worse. You need to mean that no matter the circumstances. If he gets complacent, sure, and anybody can understand that. But men in general hustle to put on for their families, provide for them, despite all that is going on. If it's bad circumstances, loss of job, loss of opportunity, you can't lose that hunger, but you don't accept disrespect from your woman for anything else, right? If you're out here trying to find opportunities so y'all can keep the same standard of living and all of that going on, then absolutely you're doing and you're holding up your end of the bargain. And that's the advice that I have for men today. I'm in a season of my life where I'm doing really well. And my wife didn't meet me this way. She didn't meet me this way. So if I ever lose these opportunities and go back to that person who has to rebuild and start from scratch, you fell in love with my ingenuity. You fell in love with my potential. You fell in love with the thought that I would be able to recreate myself out of nothing. Do not disrespect me for being that man again that you once fell in love with, because things can happen. And I think it's very dangerous if we allow women to think they can change with the wind, right? Because that is their natural tendency to do so. And I told you, I've seen it in my own house. I've seen it in other houses. That man and the way he accepts disrespect might change the course of the marriage. So I'm just telling men, do not accept that. Make sure you give the woman the choice. These are the circumstances. This is what I'm going to do about it. You staying or leaving. Because we're going to be all right. So that's really the only advice I got for men on this topic.
To trigger Mike's point, I love what he said about the successful men in your family have gone through hard times. The thing about men who go through difficult times, they always win again.
Yep.
And this is why it's important for wives to understand that if a man is working, downs don't always stay down. They eventually turn around. So you got to stick with that. And this is why I say, if a guy is with a woman and she shows signs that she's not in it for the long haul, like, look for that stuff early, bro. Like, this is why I always tell people, like, in today's world, I don't believe in dating. I believe in dating after marriage. I believe in friendship, courting, marriage, and then dating. The reason why is because a lot of men don't get a chance to see how a woman really is in different seasons of his life. And so, to JR's point, we end up marrying somebody who, who, as long as things were good, we've only seen the good side. We have no context for what life looks like when things go bad. So this goes into vetting, But this goes even deeper into friendship. You got to know how she handles difficulty. If you want to get to know her, don't ask her where she got her degree from. Don't ask her, is she an entrepreneur? Ask her how she deals with difficult times and wait for her to give you a response, because how she handles and deals with conflict is ultimately going to show up in how you guys do it when you guys are together.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Please, want to chime in on it? Anything?
Man, you really want me to go after Reverend Sir Hale and Trigger Mike?
Come on.
Yeah, no, both guys laid it down really well. The one thing that Sir Hale brought up that I really felt that needs to be driven even harder home is the fact that we used to say I do for better or worse. Today we say I do until love dies. And sort of there seems to be an expiration date when people have conversations about staying together for the long haul, and what are those foundational pieces that keep people together. Respect has to be something that is shown from the very beginning, and I do agree. We don't get to see everybody in all different seasons. Unfortunately, I just think that the climate of how people tend to kind of come together in dating, and this obviously the idea of courting is very is one that's only talked about only in certain types of households or community. I don't think it's really talked about enough or practiced enough. And that gives the reason why we have the type of results that we do. But yeah, no, respect is heavy. It shows how other men will view you. Because I mean, just stop and think about it. Imagine you being out with your wife or your person, and there's an issue or conflict that arises, and she disrespects you. Not only that she disrespects you, but she disrespected you in front of other men. That is a huge blow to your manhood and your ego, right? That is, I would probably think that that's a much difficult mountain to climb back out of than her just disrespecting you, because I believe at least you have the opportunity to lay down the non-negotiable boundary of that this can't occur, or you know what I'm saying, or we're going to have to delegate and move in other ways. But yeah, definitely respect is key.
I agree. What you over there thinking about, Eric?
I said all this in the beginning.
Yeah, mic drop.